So good morning, or should I say good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome again for another wonderful session of our coffee talks. This time we've gone all the way to Canada and we have some lovely youth that have joined us. So let's start. My name is Alka Patel, based here in very windy London, extreme weather here. And I am a heartfulness trainer and a teacher. So please welcome our youth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shiven. I am from snowy Winnipeg in Canada. Believe it or not, I've got snow piled up as high as my window right now outside my apartment, and it's amazing. I've been a heartfulness practitioner for the past year and a half. I am currently studying neuroscience and psychology honors at University of Winnipeg, and I'm so glad to be here. And over to you, Sid.
Thank you, Shiven, for that very warm welcome. Good morning and good evening and good afternoon to all. My name is Sidharth Warrior. I am a data consultant, currently based off in Toronto, Canada. I did my Master of Engineering from the University of Toronto. I've been a practitioner of heartfulness meditation for about a year now. And needless to say, it's one of the best additions to my lifestyle I've ever made. I enjoy public speaking. I enjoy boxing. I read a lot of books. I'm learning French in my spare time. And yeah, I'm also a student mentor at an educational startup in India. So I enjoy talking to people. Over to you now, Christine.
Thank you, Sid. That was, both of you really gave nice introductions. So my name is Christine Prisland. I actually live when I'm in Canada, in Victoria. So we're really covering the country except for the very far east coast. So we're covering 3 or 4 time zones. But right now I'm in Kanha Shantivanam, our ashram near Hyderabad. I arrived here about a week and a half ago. I've been practicing heartfulness for 50 years, and I've been a trainer for the same length of time. So I've been around for a long time, and it's become my life. And I'm just delighted to be here with the youth, because when I started, I was 24 years old, very naive, and had no clue what I was doing. So, and for many years, I was the same. So I'm really delighted to be here with all of you. And let's see where it goes.
Perfect. So just for our viewers, Christine is one of our editors of the Heartfulness magazine. As you know, we take a wonderful, well, when I say we, the youth pick an article, and this month's article from the magazine, another amazing one. Can I ask one of you young fellas to put it up? So yes, that's right. This article is, yeah, so this is Coffee Talks, and we are talking about everything you need is already within you. Now, Nate Morale, he was interviewed, and he talks about celebrating the healing beauty of the dawn and a beautiful sunrise. I can really resonate with this. Through this connection with nature, he also discovers the purpose of our human existence. Fantastic article, guys. Can I invite one of you along and share the next slide? And please tell us why you chose this quote and how it resonated with you.
Hello. Okay. It was just Nate. First of all, I have to commend Nate Morel for this amazing article. It was one of the best reads ever, and I think the thing that resonated to me about this quote was the fact that how we as people are constantly in this quest, involved in this quest to change the world around us and to change ourselves as well, in order to find that inner light within our hearts. And the beautiful part about this article was the fact that Nate went on this journey in the morning and he realized that everything just as it was was perfect, and it was already big and magnanimous and deep enough that we were just a finished product, and we had that light we were searching all along in our lives for, in our hearts. And the fact about nature was this, I love being out in nature. I love going on hikes, and I've actually experienced that morning glow by a lake. And every time I've ever been by the lake, I've had the same feeling as Nate, that Mother Earth is just so full of divine light that she will give you everything you ever need. It's as simple as that. And it was just a wonderfully beautiful quote that resonated with everything that I ever was searching for.
That's really,
over to Sid.
thanks, Shiven. I think I really like that you've chosen this quote, because it really does resonate with I think all of us as youth, and I still remember that back in fall of 2021, I was going through a very tough time. So this was because I had my end of my final project submission, right, deliverables. So I was under a lot of stress. I was going through a lot of issues, and I had to get out of the house, right? I was feeling suffocated. So I got on my bike and I started along the Don Valley Trail, which runs along the Don Valley River. And I stopped at a former quarry. And as I took a seat along the river banks, I was able to see a flock of ducks trying to cross the stream upstream. And it was so cute, and it was such a beautiful small a way of life that I saw in nature. And I see that the adults in the flock were helping the little children cross the stream, right? And it just made me realize that my problems are not even close to what the entirety of nature holds. And I just stood up and I was just screaming on the top of my lungs, and nature just generously took all my negativity in and sent me back with a smile on my face. So yeah, I really truly believe that nature does generously receive all of our problems and sends us back home with a smile. So it's really a wonderful quote, Shiv.
You are the experience of this quote. You are the experience of this quote. This is exactly what that article is. Wow, thank you for sharing. Christine, how do you resonate with this? Is there anything you could share with us?
I resonated with this whole article, actually. It's so close to my heart. Everything in this article, you couldn't have chosen a better one. Especially this idea of going out into nature, and coming from Canada, we're surrounded by it unless we're deep in an inner city. And even then there's parks and there's all sorts of places where you can go for the solace of nature. But I always remember when my children were small, and we'd be going out and they'd be arguing and fighting, and there they are in the back of the car. We'd get to a wildlife park, and we'd go walking, start walking. And I tell you, in 2 minutes, they're getting along, they're happy, they're, chasing each other around. And my daughter still, she's just so interested in nature, and it's her solace. And she's she's an artist, and her botanical drawings are incredible. So this is something that we can carry. I mean, it's there, nature is there, and we can just go out and experience it and observe it and witness all these wonderful things, and our hearts just open up. It's so this and we forget our pain. So it disappears, and then we carry that memory with us, I think, throughout our day. So this is a beautiful quote, and thank you for choosing it.
And Christine, just adding on to that, guys, we've all had the opportunity Now I know that during lockdown there was more time for adventuring out and getting out there, so people couldn't make that excuse. So let's see, let's move on. What does Nate say? Can you put the next slide? Are you able to put it as a full slide, please?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that'll be nice.
Yeah.
So did you resonate with this, Sid?
Yeah. So yeah, this quote. In fact, when I chose this quote, when I decided that, hey, this is going to be the quote that I'm going to talk about. Initially, the first thing that stood out for me was that there's always a sunrise and there's always a sunset. And from my window view, I stay right next to the Lake Ontario. So I get to see every morning the sunrise over the Lake Ontario horizon. And in the evening at between 5 and 6 p.m., getting later with the end of winter, I get to see the sunset reflect off the skyline of downtown Toronto. So that's one of the reasons why I chose it. But what really hit me after was the second part of the quote, which says, put yourself in the way of beauty. And I think what we should really all understand, and what I've got from this, is that it's really up to us to choose to be happy, right? There's always going to be, there are going to be problems, there are going to be opportunities to be happy, but it's really on us to choose, to decide, to sit down with ourselves and put ourselves in the way of beauty. So that's what got me about this quote, that it's our choice. And if we choose to work on it, the choice is not easy, right? There are so many tough choices that we make in this world, what choices that may not resonate with our heart, choices that make sense rationally, but again, you're not happy about it. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's up to you to be happy. And that's what got me about this quote.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think, Shiv?
I mean, first of all, wonderful selection, Sid. I think like we've all come across this quote in different forms across our lives. Like there's always different iterations of it in the sense that I've heard another iteration of it saying that you can either swim or you can drown. It's going to keep on raining. And like we've all come across this, but this was just a very like, again, I have to commend Nate on this. This was just such a wonderfully written article and such a beautiful composition. I really, really resonated with the language of it. There's always a sunrise and always a sunset, and it's up to you to choose to be there for it. The fact that it's not highlighted as a do or die situation is just that it's always a choice, and you can be perfectly happy with both. And there's beauty to be enjoyed in both. The sunrise is just as beautiful as the sunset, and we have to appreciate both for what they are. In the second part of that quote, put yourself in the way of beauty, is something that resonated with me last night as well when I was sitting with Daji sitting from India on YouTube. And all that time, one of my friends, Fiona, who also gives us settings in the North America youth group chat, she gave me this message recently when she was giving me a sitting, that in this moment I am focusing on the divine light inside my heart. And it just clicked for me in a sense that in this moment there's no problem, there's nothing. In this moment it's just me, nature, and my heart. That's it. And it also reminded me of this quote my sister Ira, who's also Heartfulness facilitator. She told me once that seekers search for truth in the outside world and believers search for truth within themselves. And there's nothing wrong with either one, but the second part of her quote as well, like that reminds me of put yourself in the way of beauty, because all the beauty you would ever need would be inside your heart. So just talk to it, speak to it, and listen to it, and you will get everything you will ever wish for. You will be able to appreciate the beauty of a sunrise and the beauty of a sunset, and you'll learn to appreciate life, yourself, and everyone around you, whether it's nature or people, and everyone just for who they are.
Absolutely. Can I just say for our viewers, Shiv, that just in case they don't know who Daji is basically the Heartfulness global trainer. He's actually from India, lived in New York, and now back in Ghana, where Christine is. And I'm loving the fact that you are referring to heartfulness, which I think we're going to talk more about later on. But Christine, this whole sunset and sunrise and the beauty, you are incarnate. I have been there. I said to you earlier, and I'll say it again, how jealous I am. How is it? How is it for you? And how do you resonate with this quote?
Well, I think I remember when I was editing this quote, for one thing, it was that last line that really resonated with me. Sunrises and sunsets are magical times, absolutely magical times at the beginning and end of every day. We've got this magic happening. And the first time I ever came to India, I traveled across a land border, and it was at dusk. It was at sunset. And it was uplifting, just setting foot in India, and this uplifting at that time of day when it's so magical. So I've always been a lover of those times of day. And it's also for photography. It's the best times to be out there with your camera and taking amazing pictures. But one of the things this quote reminded me of, and something that Sid said, I think it was, I had, even before I started meditation, I was working at the university in Calgary, and I was walking home, and I was in a very melancholic mood. I was walking to the bus, and my eyes were downcast, and my body was, my body was just sort of drooping and so on, and I'm kind of grumbling to myself. And there was a fellow walking towards me, and as he went past me, he said, "Smile," and he carried on. And that had such a profound effect on me, because it's choice. Absolutely what you're saying, we have a choice. And that's exactly what I thought. I thought, oh, I have this choice. I can smile or I can be grumpy. Better to smile and be at one with the world.
No, absolutely. Christine, my dad used to say, it doesn't cost anything to smile. And that's that connection that we humans have. That is nature.
Mm-hmm.
And the vibrations. I'm always talking about vibrations. And when there is a sunset or sunrise, that's nature. I feel at its most ultimate peace.
Mm-hmm.
So still. And so, yeah, I'm not going to talk so much because it's all down to you and the youth. So can we have the next slide, please? Christine, can we invite you to maybe have this one and see if you resonated with this?
I will never achieve deep and lasting happiness through the pursuit of external things. Instead, all I have to do is show up and surrender to the unfathomable beauty in the essence and depth of the heart. What a lovely quote. This is as we unfold through our lives, whether we meditate or not, I think that this is something that unfolds in us in a way, in a flow of life. And to be able to come to a point of connecting within. In fact, one of the things that this quote reminds me of is something that I've felt for such a long time. And this is my feeling about people, and about what everyone really needs is love and acceptance. And if you love and accept all those things that happen to you, the good and the bad, and value them, and it's not easy, but having that idea in the mind, you're actually not looking externally, you're looking internally. You're radiating this thing of love for everybody. And I think that this this quote for me really talks about that surrender to that place of pure love in our hearts that we can actually reflect out in the world and accept all that's happening with us.
Absolutely. Lads, would you like to join us? And what, did you resonate with this one? Sid?
Yes. I remember that I had chosen this quote because honestly, it's one of my main tenets now. Being a minimalist, I have to admit that this quote is actually reflecting what I think about on a regular basis, because I really want to touch upon what Christine just mentioned, that what we really need is love and acceptance. So through the pursuit of external things, right? Let's say I purchase a new set of shoes or a good looking suit to look better and to attract people to get more love and more acceptance, right? But as you do that, you start realizing that you can keep filling up or lining up your coffers, but happiness is not going to come your way. And for me, when it really struck me was I lost my bike. So my electric bike got stolen at the University of Toronto campus last year, and usually I used to be the person that used to be down or sad or attached to my materialistic things, but this was the first time. So in 27 years, this was the first time that I gave it a thought for a second or two. I accepted it. I lodged a complaint with the police and I just moved on. I didn't give it another thought at all. People around me, my roommates, my friends were like, wow, wasn't this your first bike that you purchased with your own income? I said, yes, but for some reason, I'm not sad. I'm not sad at all. So I think it really points, this whole quote points to the concept that you should really look for happiness and love inside. And the more time I spent meditating, focusing on my heart, just listening to my heart, the happier I felt overall. It wasn't a feeling that I felt immediately. Like I think maybe Christine mentioned that she was 24 and you started meditation and you didn't feel anything initially, right? But so did I. But over the last few months, I'm really starting to understand that I can spend 20 minutes a day focusing on my heart and not be bogged down by my problems, like I lost a bike or I lost some money. So I think this quote really speaks on, yes, you need to look inward. You do not need anything else or anybody else to be happy. Yeah. Shiv, would you like to chime in here with one of your thoughts?
I am so sorry that your bike was stolen from the U of T campus.
Oh,
That was just, that was like, I wish I will have to see about getting you a new bike though, because I definitely want to go biking with you at some point, Sid.
Yeah.
And I like, I'm, it's the same message my sister has been giving me for the last year and a half, and she's always told me this. Like I also mentioned earlier that seekers search for the truth in the outside world and believers search for truth within their heart. And I believe, like, even more than the pursuit of external things, this has so much to teach us about the concept of self-love as well, because in this pandemic we've all been through so much. I've worked in hospitals, I've seen people needing love, care, affection, and just kindness. And we are like the whole like Fiona gave me this setting recently, another heartfulness practitioner from a North America youth group, as I mentioned before. She told me that you always have to resonate in your heart that there's a divine light, there's a source of divine light and love inside my heart calling me from within. And the second part of that, and love, just that it seems like a very innocuous addition to that whole sentence, but and love inside my heart, that love inside my heart is calling me from within. Like, we all want people to love in this world. We're all looking for, I guess, love, or we're all looking for something to love, somebody to love us. But I believe that the whole key, and self-love has always been a very tough concept for me to grasp and to be able to understand, because yes, I am still a kid and I'm going to be learning for a very, very long time, and it's never going to stop. But again, this just thing that every time I'm looking for love, all I need to do is look in here. I don't need to look any further. And this will give me everything I need. And just like, I believe that's a very beautiful feeling. Like, if you just give into the love of your heart, I believe that you won't ever need anyone else and you won't need anything else to fill up, like to fill up voids inside your heart, because there are no voids. It's all just love. You just have to give into it. And it's as simple as that. It's hard. I'm not going to deny everybody in the world has their own struggles. They're going through an extremely tough time right now, everywhere across the globe. And even in heartfulness training, like we all have our paths and we all have our learning curve. It's going to take time, but it is a journey worth it. And it's as it's written over here. Instead, all I have to do is show up and surrender to the unfathomable beauty in the essence and depth of my heart, and you will have
Absolutely.
everything in the world you could
Yeah.
possibly wish for.
Absolutely, Shiv. Can I just say, you guys are really bringing on the love. And we also talk about these vibrations. If we're vibrating and in tune with nature, we will definitely feel that extra, how can I say, that essence. And we will probably even carry that throughout the day. So yes, meditation. What I'm going to do is going to fast track the next slide so we can take some of these slides down so we could have a really nice conversation. Because yeah, thank you. So love, as you've all been said, and this is the one I resonated with ultimately, is always offered but never forced. You can't force somebody to love you. You can't force anything. It's like especially blame as well. You can't blame others for your own unhappiness. But my question to you, love is always offered. To become love, what is it we need to do? If I can ask this slide to go down so that all of us are on the screen. And the question is, how then do we become love? Christine, let's put that out to you.
That is a tough one. I think that I feel like I don't think we ever set out to become love. I think that need arises naturally for us to become something more than what we are. And to actually become love takes work. It takes effort, it takes time, it takes joy, it takes really looking for the beauty, as we've been discussing. This concept of self-love is a very interesting thing for me. I've wrestled with that for a long time because I feel like this is a gap. And, you know, Shiv, you were saying this thing about self-love, right? It resonated for me for a minute because I think this is a common trait that we all have a tendency to beat ourselves up about things that we've done or not done, or should have done better, or didn't say the right thing, and so on like that. So when you're becoming love, I think that this whole idea of self-love might unfold naturally. You do have to, and maybe, I think in my experience, the more that I think about that feeling of love towards others, of accepting others, this idea of self-love becomes more and more apparent to me, that I'm more able to accept myself. And it's like the quote says, you can't force it. But it is an unfolding of ourselves. If we're thinking of the other and not ourselves, then I think this whole sort of self-love just starts to blossom.
Absolutely. You know, the article is, we have everything we need in us. And going back to you, Christine, and the boys, that, you know, you have it in you already. How do you access it? So sorry, I'm trying to pull out all this for our audience. Easier said than done. Yes, love, let's do love. Let's do How do we get there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, as a teacher, I do that. I always on Coffee Talks bring it out because that's my thing, right? So come on, Boxer, tell us, how do we get there? How do we get that out of us?
So here's what I feel, okay? People who are loved are people who provide value to them, to others, right? So let's take an example of leaders who are very well loved or celebrated, right? They are all providing some sort of value to a large demographic of people. So let's start small, and let's say that you want your love for your family or your friends to come out. Now, yes, some would argue and say that it's natural that you love your family, correct? But I mean, I'm sure that everybody has, cases where they don't love parts of their family. But
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're able to understand what value you can provide to the other person, I think that automatically the connection for love has already started there. And when you commit, or when you create that situation where you're providing value to the other person, it happens without even thinking about it, is what I truly feel. Because love is not a zero-sum game. Between two people, if one person puts out love, the other person is not going to lose something, right? That's how a zero-sum game works. Your gain plus your losses are zero. But that's not true. If you put in love, the other person is just going to put in the exact amount or more. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that from my perspective, if I want a person to like me, or if I want to establish that love connection, I try to do something that has value to them. I try to give them some service. I try to give them my time. I try to help them with some sort of activity that they are not able to do, and I can provide value therein. So I guess if you off the top of my head, yeah, try to identify what the other person needs and offer that without expecting anything back. This is how you would create love, create that love.
Create that love. Love it. Create that love. New title. Shiv, how do we get that love or that true being? Because that's what love is, isn't it? That true being in you. How do we get there and then become external? So living from in out.
I believe the short answer is I will let you know. But uh, the other facet of it is also said, and Christine totally agreed with you. And like I just like Sid said, you have to give them something of value, and it doesn't have to be just for asking someone for love or like expecting it in return. It can just be for the sake of showing some people some love. Like Christine, the gentleman at the bus stop who gave you the most simple but profound advice. One of the most simple and profound advice is I'm pretty sure you received in your life. Smile. That's all he said, and that made a world of difference at that one moment in time, and for so many others henceforth. And like I was just yesterday before the sitting at 9:30 with Daji in India, I decided that what I'm going to do is I'm not just going to clean up the snow off my car, but also the snow off the cars of my neighbors. And I could see people up from the apartment windows just staring, what is this guy doing right now? It was wonderful physical therapy, but it was also just the fact that just show love. You don't need to expect anything. You don't need to have ask for anything for anyone. As long as you show love, it will come back to you in some form. But again, that is simpler said. Like it's much easier to just say it than actually do it. And also because there's so many things that are intertwined, and it's like a complex fabric that we always have to sort of untangle along with our heart throughout our lifetime. The reason why I said that I will let you know is because I still haven't discovered. I'm still discovering the key to my heart. Like for a long time, I felt that I have lost touch with myself, that I am not the person who I started out to be. And I'm definitely not anywhere closer to being the person that I want to be. Heartfulness made a world of difference in the fact because it made the message very simple, and it told me all you need to do is just listen to your heart. You do not need to do anything else. Just focus on being there in the moment, And it's just listen to the small things that are said to you. For example, it's easier to ignore that advice or smile at a bus stop and just stay focused in your reverie of oh, why is my day going so awful, or like what's happening to me, but then smile, wow, okay, smile. And like Sid said about the bike, and it, for me, it's the notion that I put a lot of pressure on everyone around me, because for the past year and a half, I was struggling a lot during the pandemic. I was working in a hospital, and it was tough seeing the conditions over there, not just for patients, but for everybody. There's a lot of stress in people right now, and it doesn't discriminate at all. And we're just compounding that stress by just sharing it further. Whereas what we just need to try is like give into the love and not to the stress. And that, it's as simple as that. I decided to take responsibility, and I only speak for myself. I could not presume to speak for anyone else, because it's a journey. It's that road. Like we all, I believe life is like a highway. We all have a different lanes. We're all on our path somewhere. At some points, our paths may diverge. Some points, the path may converge. It's all about the journey and maybe the destination at the end. But it's all about the fact that you cannot expect anyone else around you to take on your burdens and take on everything you have. It would be lovely to have someone like that. It would be. I would be the world to have someone. And I'm like, I have friends who are genuinely lucky to have people like that in my life. And I have friends like that too. But for me, that journey began when I decided to take responsibility for the fact that first I need to learn to love myself. And first I need to learn to be happy with myself. And it's all about listening to my heart. As long as I'm listening to my heart and I keep working towards it, everyone else will be drawn into that love too. And they will be like, that pressure will be off. Like that quote said, love is always offered and never forced. And the essence of heartfulness meditation is also that you don't always have to knock a door down, or in Churchill's word, just take a pile driver to everything. But you just have to be gentle. Just be gentle. Just open that doorknob and it will open. You don't have to knock it down every time. It's as simple as that.
You were reading my mind. You know, you're absolutely right. Be kind to yourself. You really do need to be, yeah, absolutely kind. But I have a question again. Here I go. Is earlier we were talking about the weather, and you know, you have in Canada, you have things around you, but there are people our viewers who may be living in a city where there isn't that beauty around them. Okay, and it's what made me think, because I'm very lucky as well. I'm in the outskirts of London, lots of forests, blah blah. But I know people who are living in cities. Can the beauty be found within? That was my thought as we were talking. Can the beauty be found? Christine, I'm going to ask you again. The beauty, can it be found within? And how do you feel about that question? Yeah. Sorry, I'm putting you in, everybody, but that's my job here.
Yes, you're doing a very good job too. You know, this is repeat what you were just asking me again, because I had all these stories jumping up into my head.
Sorry, my fault. I do talk about it. So, yeah, my lovely, what I'm saying is some people don't have that opportunity to be around nature. But the question is, can you find that beauty, that essence from within?
Well, you certainly can. I mean, there's outer ways of doing that too, is by, like your plants, creating beauty within your surroundings, right? Doing small things like that. Obviously, I think meditation helps us going inwards, and that's where our inner beauty is. This is what we find as we go and dive deeper into our subconscious and fly high into our super consciousness, as we say. But there are, I think, one of the best ways of finding that beauty, even if you're living in the inner city, is by being kind. like you were just mentioning, Alka, this just do things like Shiv did, just out of the blue, cleaning somebody's car when he didn't need to do that. It arose from his heart, from that beauty within. And I remember when my daughter was going to, it was sort of like the precursor to Girl Guides at the time. It was elves. She was like 4 or 5 years old. And they had this little motto they had to keep saying all the time. And the motto was, "This is what we do as elves. Think of others, not ourselves." And that's such a beautiful little recipe, you know, for coming out of ourselves and bringing our own beauty out into the world, and just random acts of kindness, or, you know, planned ones, whatever you do. I mean, and when I'm in Victoria, I carry a pocket of change for the people that I've always got it. And so, you know, I do things like that, or I'll buy them a coffee or something like that. Or if you go out into your life with that idea of being kind to others, you're automatically kind to yourself.
Absolutely. I've just seen the message, everyone. We have 5 minutes. These coffee talks, you know, they really go quick, and not enough coffee. Guys, you are the voice for the youth. Okay, that beauty from within. You've got a couple of minutes each. Please, just what would you like to say to people around you? Sid and Shiv, either one, please come along. Okay, come on, Shiv. Let's have you.
Okay, I'll go. Just open your minds and hearts to everything around you. It's as simple as that. I mean, for me, it's about, like, I've always enjoyed silence. Like, I've always tried to find the source of happiness in small moments, whether it's a midnight snack at 2 a.m. because I'm preparing for an exam and I'm dancing along because nobody is watching. I put on Sia, just amazing. And it's all about the simple things, really. It isn't that complicated. And it's paradoxical, I agree, but I'm just going to leave people with these lines from Jack Kerouac, who's one of my favorite writers. Jack once said, "I came to a point where I needed solitude and just stop the machine of thinking and enjoying what they call living. I just wanted to lie in the grass and look at the clouds." And another thing that Jack said that I lived my life by is, one day I'll find the right words and they will be simple.
Wow.
Nice.
Profound. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll find it. We'll find it. Have that faith, have that belief, and you will be there. You will get there one day. Until then, just enjoy the journey. Enjoy the Grand Canyon that is life.
Guys, when I was your age, I used to come out with quotes like this. And then what got me was the how. The how. How do we get there? And for me, and I know you guys have been talking about this, and Christine, you've been doing it for years. For me, it was heartfulness. It was. That transformation started happening because of heartfulness. So love the quote, love the connection to heartfulness. Sid, the beauty, how, go on.
Yeah, I think for me, diving back to what Christine said, it's all about, if you're not able to access nature as beauty, then create that beauty within you, right? And once you start reflecting, once you're able to once you're able to dive away from impulsive reactions, right, or impulsive decisions, and just focus on yourself, automatically you'll start doing things that benefit others. And if you're compassionate with yourself, you're compassionate with others, and that just comes back to you. So I like to think that being a network engineer, I like to think that everybody is connected. So everybody is a node in their own. And when I'm speaking from a spiritual perspective, not from the cables perspective, right? So spiritually, everybody is connected. And think of everybody having a score, like a spirit score, and keep working on that. Keep doing good things. Keep working on yourself. Keep providing value to others. It's going to come back to you. And I think that's about it. I think beauty doesn't need to be external.
that message is powerful, because that goes on for me to say, you are not on your own out there. Be with others. We are social beings. And that connection is so, so important with nature and with humans, with everything, especially yourself. So on this note, everyone, I'm sorry we don't have time. Come on then, Shiv.
Just one last thing.
Come on, quickly.
A good starting point for that journey would be a question that my friend Mitch asked me, which threw me into an existential crisis, but also cleared a lot of things up. It's asking yourself the question, how do you see the big picture? Just as simple as that. How do you see the big picture? You don't need to go into like clarifying that question. Just answer this. How do you see the big picture? And you will be well on your way to getting there.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Shiv. Absolutely. So listen, guys, the team in India are screaming out, we're going to finish. We're going to take you off. So may I take this opportunity, because I know it's not easy trying to get to these sessions and all the work beforehand. So thank you from the whole Coffee Talks team. And hope to see you soon. I'm just going to sit back where you guys can say your goodbyes. But thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity and time.
Yes. Thank you all. It was really a delight to be with you all this evening. I'm just chuffed. Bye-bye.
The perfect start to a Sunday for us in Canada.
Yeah.
True.
And I also say to our viewers, just as I didn't mention, the article is from the Heartfulness magazine, the February version. And also it's there online. It's free. It's for everybody across the globe. Do look out for March edition. I know that's another fantastic articles in there. Thank you, Christine. And again, heartfulness.org or heartfulnessmagazine.org. Please go on. It is something you don't pay for. We are all volunteers here. So I just want to say thank you again.
Thanks, Alka.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Sending you all a love.
Thanks, Christine.